Hey everyone, and welcome to the Infinite Respawn podcast. I'm Chicken.
I'm Oak Tree.
I'm Griff, and Baka's not here because
I'm Baka.
He's sick. But I did put the really happy picture of Baka on the video version of the podcast, so that even though he's not here, you can still enjoy him. And also, I just really love that picture because it's so cute. So I'm enjoying it, regardless of whether or not you are. Oh man. So I'm just going to start things this week because I have a lot of frustration to just throw out at the beginning so that everything else can be happy after that. That way it starts on a low note and we can go to a high note with what I've done this week. Or what everybody's done this week.
Alright, here we go. Let's do this.
Alright, look.
Do WoW first.
I'm going to.
Okay.
I don't like stupid people. I don't like people who lie. I don't like people that are dishonest and disrespectful. I have a lot of problems with people in general. And little faith in humanity. This did not help. So, this week we had our AQ40 raid, which is 40 people. I mean, that's what the 40 in the AQ is for. And that means that because of where we're at, we're before they announced Burning Crusade, and it's been so long that Classic's been out, numbers have dropped. So, our guild is doing things like AQ40, and we're supplementing with other guilds and then random people. So we have partnered with another guild, and they're really nice people so far, and they didn't have quite enough to fill the other half of the raid, essentially, for us for AQ40, so we picked up some randos. And one of the problems with that is that we also ended up having to pick up a rando that filled a spot that Red usually fills for us, because that's a whole nother can of worms, and he was an idiot this week. It was not a great week for me as far as the frustration level goes. But we're not going to get into that. That's on him. But we got to a point in this raid with these 40 people, and things broke down. Basically, there's a fight where you're not supposed to cast any of area of effect abilities, and we have made that clear multiple times. Our regular people, we usually don't have a problem with that, but we had a couple of people that would not stop this week, and it caused the raid to wipe. We were short Red for a couple of those pulls because, you know, he was being stupid elsewhere. and things just broke down. So we ended up being like, all right, look, we're going to call the raid here for the night. We'll come back on Sunday. We'll put up a sign-up sheet. We'll come back on Sunday. We'll finish it on Sunday when everybody can be here. So called it an evening. The way things work in World of Warcraft with raids is that anybody who is in that raid could go back to it at any point with any other people, as long as there's at least one person that is the group leader that takes them into that raid, which means they will pick up wherever we left off, which was Twin Emperors. So we had all decided we would come back Sunday. Yesterday, we find out that somebody that was in our group that was one of the randoms was advertising to fill slots for an AQ40 that picks up at Twin Emps. It was our raid, and we didn't find this out until about an hour or so into the raid. They had even taken one of our guildies that was not in our original raid and did not know it was our raid ID. So they basically...
Which is how we confirmed it, by the way.
Yes.
I talked to him in guild, and I asked him for the raid ID because he was not there Thursday. And I asked him for the raid ID because every raid gets its own definite ID. So I told him, what's the raid ID of the AQ you're doing right now? He gave it to me. It matched ours. He wasn't there Thursday, so he just jumped into the person who stole it from us.
Yes. Basically, a warrior, and I will straight up say the name, was a warrior named Pammy from a guild called Fully Rested. Fuck you guys. Stole our raid tag, even after they had signed up to be at the cleanup tomorrow, or tonight. So they knew we were going back. And then... basically, once it was found out that this had been stolen, he's like, oh, I have 3 tunes that I was raiding on this week, you guys, and I swear I just didn't know, you know, what raid tag I had, and it was a mistake. The problem with that is, 1, you did know. 2, that's 3 tunes, you're telling me you can't keep up with 3 characters. That's really not, you know, I'm not buying it. Secondly, your guild leader, when we called them out on it, said that they got that tag from somebody in trade chat. You got it from inside your own guild, and it was your guildie. Like, you can't... If your stories had matched, then maybe I'd be like, honest mistake. But the guild leader tried to lie about where they got the raid tag from. So we got our good, like, basically those 3 bosses, Imps, Oro, and Cthulhu, are the high-end loot. And they just got a freebie walk in the park to go get it. I'm livid. I am so mad because Thursday was already a shit show. Like, Thursday was now, with that not being able to go back and finish up, Thursday was now a complete waste of an evening. And I'm so mad that somebody would do that and then try to lie about it and then be like, it was an honest mistake. You said you had 3 tunes and you couldn't remember. So you were still stealing someone's tag because you didn't know who it belonged to or whether or not they were going back for it. I'm not buying it, and I'm super mad about it. It's a whole thing. And it's really shitty behavior. And there's nothing, like, at that point, there's nothing we can do about it. But the thing that makes it even worse is they did it as a GDKP, which basically means for all of the items that drop, people pay in. And the guild that's running it, which is that guy's guild, gets a payout on top. So they profited off of us carrying them to that point.
Wow.
Yeah, it blew up pretty bad because it was like 5:05, and one of our officers posted a picture of him looking for more people in his guild's Discord, and then it just took off from there. Like, I mean, our officers started talking about it.
So was this last night, or was
this
was last night?
This is last night.
We were supposed to go in today, so he made sure that he got it before we were supposed to go back.
Yeah, I was like, "Are you kidding me?" And he even signed up for it. Which means he knew we were going back. So I don't remember is the most bullshit thing I have ever heard. Fuck you, Pammy. You will never be coming with us again to anything. And we've put that out on the fucking server, so...
Yeah, there's a server Discord in which one of the other guilds that we're partnered with, went ahead and posted about it, and it blew up across the servers too, the whole server. Everybody knows, and that is why we like Classic, is because that stuff stays with you.
Yes, that's your reputation.
You have to server transfer and leave if you don't want that stuff following you. Otherwise, it's basically a sticky note that's stuck on your guild now, and everybody knows to be careful of you because you're shady as fuck.
Yep. And I think one of the things that was just weird to me about it is after we had posted in the Pug Discord that somebody had stolen the tag so we wouldn't be able to go back to let the other people know, I know you all signed up for this to come back, but guess what? Now we can't. Pammy actually posted and was like, I'm really sorry, you guys. From here on out, I promise I won't be coming to any more of your stuff. It's like, we already banned you. You don't really get a choice. You're not doing the nice guy thing by saying you're not coming anymore. Peace out, bro. Like... Get the fuck out of here with that shit. So, already, life not great, right? That was my wasted Thursday and then ruined Saturday, thanks to that. We're playing Sea of Thieves. We played Friday night, too, which Friday night was fine. And I think some of the new stuff is really neat, and we'll talk about that here in a minute. But yesterday, we were, 2 hours in, so we had a bunch of stuff on our boat, and for some reason, I've got my PC and everything hooked up to a battery backup. So if the power goes out, I should have a couple of seconds, a couple of minutes really, to get everything shut down and saved or whatever. But for some reason, the power flickered and my battery backup flickered at the same time. So my whole PC went down, and Chicken did not, it didn't do anything. It didn't take him offline or anything. So he's still on. I'm going in there because my computer's throwing an error when I'm trying to restart it. I go in there and I'm talking to him about the error, and I'm like, I need you to come take a look at this. Hey, there's somebody on the boat. I look, and because I'm looking at his screen, there's a guy that just climbed the ladder right next to Red and is running around Red, and Red's just standing there dying.
He was already on before, for some reason, because when she was talking to me, now it's my perspective time. Well, because I was sitting like this talking to her, and I glanced back and I looked at her, and I heard the anchor start going down, and I happened to look back and I saw somebody jumping around Red, and I was like
yeah,
for a second my brain did not make the connection. And then Red's like, I'm being attacked. And I turned and I was like, oh shit. And I start beating the guy. I'm winning the fight, and he fucking jumps overboard, and I try to get Red up, and he climbs back up the ladder, and I start fighting him again, and Red dies, and then he goes downstairs, and I beat him again. But I just do not kill him.
He's not beating him to death. He's beating him to the point where they both need to run away for a banana break.
Yeah, he runs downstairs, and I go back upstairs trying to get the fucking anchor up. Cat's trying to get me to get the help me get the anchor up, and he comes back upstairs, and all I had was one banana, and he starts attacking me. I was like, all right, I don't have any food. I have to push for this. All Cat has to do is hit him once. Because I was counting how many hits I was hitting. I hit him like 5 or 6 times. Combat. I was like, all right, cool. Just one hit, and he's down. Cat can get me up. We can get the anchor up. We can go. No, he kills me. And it kills her, and then we come back. Once we spawn back in, his sloop buddy is right there next to us, bombarding the shit out of us. I kill him. Red, I don't know what the fuck Red's doing. He's sitting there twiddling thumbs on the goddamn ghost boat. Griff's PC is shut down. I'm trying to get the anchor up with Cat, and by the time the anchor pulls up, I see the water filling up on the second deck, and it goes, and the ship goes down.
Because nobody was bucketing either.
I was
livid.
It takes a lot of restraint to hold back. And by the way, this guy is berating the shit out of us while he's doing this too, by the way. Like, that just makes it even worse. And Griff is sitting back here, so I'm being berated by the guy in my headset and berated by Griff behind me. You just let a fucking single dude kill you. You can't fucking show my gun. And I'm like...
I was like, you didn't even notice there was a guy on the boat, because Red was just standing there.
She's just sitting there fucking going at me, and this dude is going at me, and I just lost this fucking fight, and I'm like...
And we lost our ship, which means we lost all of our loot, so our entire night was a fucking waste. And that's part, like, I was just already tilted from the week and all of the stuff that had happened in WoW Guild stuff, and then this happens. Like, my PC is down, it's giving me an error, so I'm already worried about that being just garbage.
And I walked in there and fixed it, by the way.
Yes, he did fix it, but I can't help anything because I can't get back to my fucking game. So I'm just having to be the innocent bystander here. It was so frustrating. I was like, I just want to set everything on fire and pretend I don't exist anymore today. I have had it with today. And I wasn't even supposed to play last night. Like, I was like, I can't do Sea of Thieves multiple nights in a row.
You're like Dante from Clerks. I'm not even supposed to be here today.
We're serious. Because I was like, I don't like doing Sea of Thieves multiple days in a row because it makes my anxiety, like, really rough. Because I have that we're going to get attacked and I'm not going to be able to do anything about it hanging over my head all of the time.
Well, congratulations. We got attacked and you couldn't do anything about it.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is like, I was supposed to play one night and then Red was supposed to play the other and we were going to swap out, but Baka ended up being sick, which I'm not mad at Baka about. Nobody think that I'm upset that he's sick. That's out of his control. It's fine. But I was like, okay, I'm already on edge and then this goes down. I'm like, I just can't anymore with anything. Like, it was awful.
That was awful. That was very, very, very rough.
Sounds like a great weekend.
Yeah, we got our boat back, we finished up the mission, and then we sailed off and ended the night.
Yeah, but we didn't get, like, they basically waited for us to take out 4 captains on an island and then attack.
It was 8 captains.
Sorry, 8 captains on an island and then attack.
Yeah, they were sailing around, like, we saw them, too. Like, the soup was just sailing around, so I just, you know, all the rest of the days, and I don't know who fucking said it the last time we fucking played. Someone's like, oh, we haven't had that much problems in Sea of Thieves lately. It's been really calm. And then that motherfucker had to go ahead and jinx us like that shit. And
I said that when he said it. I was like, if we die tonight, I'm hurting you. So get ready,
my guard was way down too, by the way. Like, I was completely settled in and comfortable, and that was a huge mistake for Sea of Thieves.
I was just, you know, I will say though, the update with the plunder pass and everything, I do like going on the trek to find the downed ship and then getting all of the cargo stuff. I do think that is neat though. As frustrating as everything else was, like, Friday night we did that stuff and it was great. It's neat to open the captain's quarters and see like that stack of stuff and you're like, look at all of these boxes, yay!
I like that you can just throw it out of the cab and let it float up to the top and then shoot it. It's
like
very
it's stacked
convenient.
all nice inside the cabin, but the second you take it, like you pick it up and take it outside, it's buoyant all of a sudden.
We ended up doing, and for those that don't know, if you haven't done the update yet, basically they, instead of handing you a regular map like you normally would have, they hand you a map and show you the route of a ship, and then you're trying to find your way through that route and find different clues and stuff to send you to the next part. Well, what was funny for us is we ended up between the next to last part of the route and the last part of the route, we had a galleon that came after us. And so we had stuff on the ship. So we're kind of like, okay, we need to get this over with and done. Right. So typical me and No Pants, we're like, I'm running. I'm not going to, we try the attacking shit and all that stuff before. And No Pants and Alyssa are actually very good with the PvP. Old Man, because, just because of the fact that he has a hard time hearing things, he can't really do the PvP because he doesn't even know if somebody's on the ship a lot of times. So we don't really depend on him on that. He's usually the one driving. So I ended up driving the boat and everybody else was and I was like, move the sails this way, move the sails that way, blah, blah, blah. We're getting chased. And I was like, all right, we're going old school with this one. No Pants goes, we're going through the rocks, right? And I was like, yep. It's a big archway, and I just drive straight through the middle of a galleon at fucking full speed, just right through the middle of it. They ended up hitting twice. Alyssa jumps off the back of the boat to see if she can get to him. Old Man goes with her too, because he's like, might as well. You all about yourself. So he goes, he gets over there, and they dodge them. So they are not able to get on the boat. So they're still running after us. And we end up going through another set of rocks. And No Pants is like, I'm done with this. If these guys can't go through a set of rocks properly, then I think what we need to do is go through the storm. And I was like, oh, we got a storm. So we went straight through the middle of a storm. Those guys ended up crashing into a small island and just completely eliminating their ship. And I was like, all right, we can go about our way. So if the last clue that we had was, it was talking about the fact that they were possibly going to be attacked by Meg, and they were toward their last. If not, they would make it to their last destination. So we went to the final destination first. There were no clues or anything like that. And I was like, okay, we're going to have to backtrack. So we went back to the area, and then when you go down and you see that ship for the first time, I was like, there's a ship here where everything else is already on the surface. There's a ship here. And then to have that captain's key and open that shit up and see everything inside is like, yes!
It feels good,
yes,
man.
these are what these are for.
I like that that's not even like the main part of the mission either. Like, that's just the goodies. Like, if you happen to forget your key, you know, boo on you, but you still go down and get the book that you can turn in and finish the mission. But like getting the captain's keys and opening it, you're like, hey, cool. Oh, I like it. You get all the goodies.
Well, it was funny too, because Old Man, I was like, oh, I got this journal thing, and they were like, all right, cool. Well, Old Man wasn't down there with me, so later on he's checking the rest of the ship just to see if there's anything else, and I hear him go, there's a skeleton down here, and I was like, yeah, that's where I got the book, man. He was like, oh, okay. But I had because one of the things that would happen is they would release a new thing on a Wednesday or a Thursday, and Old Man and Alyssa, because of the time they had on them, they would play through everything before we played on Friday night. Or they would watch everything before playing Friday night. And to me, that's not fun. I want all of us to experience it together. This was a blast because we got to experience it together. It was fantastic to go through and just be like, it was like old times, and we were all able to play together. It was great. And they were all like, it was so funny Friday. They're like, I haven't watched anything. I haven't played anything. I logged in just to be able to look at the Emporium, the stuff that was in it. And it's like, that's the only thing I've done. And I was like, good. I'm glad that that's what y'all are doing. But it's so funny because they were also like, they were itching to get on the seas on Thursday night, and they weren't able to do it. So, but I also do like the progression system. The thing I don't like right now with the first season is with that plunder pass. Some of the things that you're getting as extra as part of your plunder pass, I already have. So
like what?
It's like, I feel like it should give you, like, it should go, oh, you have the wolf figurehead. Let me replace it with something that you don't have in your inventory.
Like, are we talking about the bonuses that you get automatically, or the stuff that you've earned through the levels?
It's the stuff that you earn through the levels. So when you go through and you have you'll have the ones you get through the regular pass, and then the plunder pass will have like a little orange one or whatever. That one right there, a lot of those I have already.
Okay.
And so
I would definitely give them feedback on that, because that kind of makes it not worth it for people who already have it.
Well, and if I could see ahead of time what the extras would be, I wouldn't have a problem with it, because then I can make a choice, right?
But you can.
To see what the extra ones that you would end up getting?
Yeah. Like on the little battle pass thing where you can go through all 100 levels, you can see everything that you get.
Yeah. I know that, but we didn't even log into the game ahead of time. So the idea was like, so you didn't have the strip in front of you to be able to pull up.
You bought it out of game.
Yep,
Okay,
because it was
buy
already
it
purchased
in game.
Well,
you
I
buy
will
it
from
in
now
game
on,
too.
but I'm just saying, we did it because we literally wanted no spoilers. It was just literally us going into the game or whatever, and I just bought the Plunder Pass because I said I would at least buy season 1 of it, and for $10, not bad.
Oh yeah, definitely not bad.
And so I like the amount of gold, everything else that you get along with that. I also love the fact they gave me 100,000 gold right off the bat. I hadn't logged in since December or something, but also. So I ended up with, because when I first got the Series X, one of the very first things I did was pull up that game because I wanted to see what it looked like on the Series X versus an Xbox One. So I have an entire skin for my ship that is just for the Series X, and it's actually a really good looking skin. I'm like, this is pretty awesome because they did, what's his name? The Bildrak guy. It's no longer the Bildrak guy.
I don't remember their names well enough, sorry.
I know the guy that was sitting
the guy
in the
that used to be in the tavern.
Right.
And now you have Marion, or
the lady outside.
Yeah, but it's the guy that she replaced. The guy she replaced or whatever. It's him as the figurehead. And his swords are crossed like this as an X, and it's the green glow from the Xbox. And then the sides are completely black with like some green stripes on them a little bit. And then the sails have a black tint to them with green on it, and then they have the colors of the buttons from the controller look like gems on stuff, and they've got them in that same like diamond shape that they have on different stuff. It really is a good looking. Like I was like, this was well done, just really really well done. But
I'm gonna keep our unicorn with the glowy horn figurehead forever, so I don't need.
Yeah, that one's pretty neat.
I don't need any other one really, so. Just that one.
The legendary one.
It's so cute. It's the unicorn. You put
everybody
it on
like when they first got Legend, everybody had those on.
Well, I mean, it's cute. So why wouldn't you?
Oh, it's a good looking. It's definitely good looking.
And you put it on with the hull that has the. I think it's like the hunter hull or something, but it's got a couple of stars right up there close to the figurehead. It's cute. It's like a rainbow bright ship of death. It's the opposite of rainbow.
Did anybody play anything else besides WoW and?
Yeah, I played one other game. But one last thing that I would like to put on, like, Sea of Thieves, their pass thing hit the most important thing that I said was to make it so that every level is rewarding. Because games like Red Dead, the free pass is you get something every five levels. You get something for free. Where if you buy the battle pass, you get something every level. I like that Sea of Thieves did it the opposite. Free, you get something every level. It's a leveling system. You get tons of stuff. Like even real money currency too. And then if you buy the Plunder Pass, you get special stuff. Or if you're a pirate legend, you get special stuff.
Yeah, so I like that the Athena coins was part of that too. I think that's brilliant.
I think they nailed it pretty well right there, and I love being able to see the stats now and all the different challenges, like just sailing or doing anything, putting down a mission or sailing the seas or landing on an island. Everything you fucking do gives you experience. Yeah. It's nice. It kind of feels like you're
one of the most frustrating ones to us is we had the you had to catch a fish, right? But it never showed up in any of our trials. And like we were so mad about that because we're like we know they're still having problems trying to register all this, but it's like of all the simple ones to change, that's the one that they haven't changed.
Yeah.
Your fish doesn't count anymore.
It wasn't popping up.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I liked it. It kind of feels like it was a net positive. The new voyages are really fun, and the battle pass is just a nice addition that they've thrown in.
I like the trials a lot. I like that there's difficulty levels basically for the trials where you can look through and go, okay, these are going to be the green ones are going to be the easier ones to go. The blue ones are going to be a little bit more difficult. The purples are going to be very hard. And then you can kind of decide how you want to handle that. I like that they're connected. So a lot of times, like the fish one, for instance, if you get a trophy fish, then you can cook that trophy fish and sell it and sell it to the hunters, and you end up with unlocking it as well.
Yeah. And also
they made it part of the natural progression of the game too, which I think is cool.
Yeah, they added dailies too, and they added a month's worth of dailies that you can look. It has like a date and time of when the daily starts and when it ends, and it's just kind of everyday challenges for people that like to play.
I love the like the very first one was the on Friday night was the one for turning the ship around 3 times, doing an anchor drop.
Yeah, doing
like
an anchor
everybody's
drop.
still at the outpost pretty much, and I just set the damn thing on sail and just flip it around at least once. Everybody gets back to the boat, and we're raising the anchor back up and do it again, and then we just went back to the outpost pretty much. I was like, I'm having fun with this. This is good. You know, it's like it's kind of the old school, just trying to figure out the game again, figure out different things. Like I like the fact they're adding these different challenges into it, because
a couple of things like outfits and a couple of vanity things that you could unlock by playing, or buy with your money, because it feels like we haven't gotten. My sister asked about that. She's like, did they add new clothes or anything? And I was like, not for us. That's not buying the battle pass, but like just your general. It doesn't have to be anything super fancy. Just your general.
Most of it's just buying and unlocking the achievements and things like that. Like actually doing stuff.
I'm not even saying that has to be part of the battle pass. I'm just saying it'd be nice if they would add a couple of new things.
I feel very confident, and
But I think that's the reason they made. I think that's the reason they made Athena coins as part of the regular progression and not the battle pass progression. I think they made it for those people that aren't going to spend the extra $10 on there. If you're able to get through all 100 levels, I think you're going to have plenty of Athena coins at the end to be able to purchase some of those stuff that normally people would do it, and you're doing it by playing the game.
Yeah.
Versus just going out and buying it. The only thing I didn't like I go back to the fact that a lot of those items, some of those items already have, which by the way, there is a free emote if y'all didn't get it. Make sure you get it.
I think I got it.
It's in the Emporium. It's plead. You're pleading not to be killed, I guess. But the thing about it is with all that, they stated the fact that every 3 months the stuff that was going to be part of that battle pass would be moved into the Emporium, but some of it's already in the Emporium. So it's like
they got ahead of themselves. Okay.
Like you did not think that through a little bit. Like you should have given like a new stuff. But I do like the lunar stuff that got released. I think some of that looks really good. And this is the first, like I said, the first time I really logged in and looked at the game in a while. And there's shit that's 2.1 million and stuff like that in gold. And I was like, what? Like I get it that the PvP people have a lot of money on it, but jeez. 2.1 million. Like I now keep mine at right about 1 million, and then when it goes up, that's what I'll spend. But I keep the 1 million in the bank in case I want to buy something big. I ended up paying 500,000 for the legendary cannon cloud or whatever.
What's
this
the
just like
legendary
glowing green
one?
when it pops it.
I know. Yours is glowing. Oh, the legendary one is green.
It's a glowing green, yeah.
I bought pink.
We got purple.
It's pink. Thank you. It's pink.
I have a purple one.
I think that's a really nice cosmetic thing that I personally never even thought about them doing that. And so when she did it, I was like, oh, that's a neat cosmetic thing. I didn't even think about changing the cannon color.
The lunar one's pretty neat too. The one that's part of the lunar set, because when you do it, it looks like fireworks sort of, and coins kind of drop. So when you do it, it goes. It's like
they're gonna do a rainbow one. I bet money, like a cannonball trail, or it's just a rainbow.
The amount of times I would so have a rainbow one.
Same.
I think that's next. I think what's next is, because right now it's just the poof. I think they end up doing the trails for the.
Yay.
It'll probably be a very short trail, to be honest, because like having a long trail, you'd be able to see cannonballs pretty easily. But having like a little short trail, like tail right on the back of the cannonballs, would be really neat.
If you look when one's shot, if you're close enough to a ship, when one's shot, there's a little bit of white that comes back behind it, and I think that's what it would be. Is that let's say 10 feet of white, right? It would be 10 feet of whatever you wanted it to be. So you could have. Rainbow. You know, like if you're like my colors are purple and green for most of my stuff for my stream, so I can set it up to where one's purple and one's green and just, you know, be cool.
That would be awesome.
But I bet you're right though. I think in June, which is I think it's Pride Month, I think they'll end up with because that's how we ended up with the flag. The Pride flag was part of that too.
Yep. So hell yeah.
That'd be cool. For sure.
So yeah, moving on from Sea of Thieves because they did good. We're happy. We like it. Good job. Try it out. The season thing is good.
Yep.
Other than that, I played. Baka mentioned Bloodstain last week, and I went ahead and downloaded it. I beat it yesterday. I beat the shit out of it. It's one of those games where I apparently power gamed like hardcore. Once I got into the mechanics and whatnot, I just started whooping the game. It also keeps a nice little track of how much the map you've completed, and I've completed 99.8% of the map. I'm missing 0.2 somewhere. I think it's hidden places, and it's driving me up a wall to not see a 100%. But for a platformer game, I highly recommend it. If you like platformers or Castlevania style RPGs, that this game is for you 100%. And like I said, I beat the shit out of it. I farmed for the best weapons because you have to craft them. You basically, and because the game is super craft or farm friendly, because you literally just go from one zone to go back into the room with the monster that you need, and you kill it, and then you zone out, zone back in, kill it again, zone in, zone back out. I just did that a few times to get all the materials that I needed, and I just farmed the best weapons and smashed the bosses. And
That's awesome.
the way the story plays out is actually really fucking neat. I'm not going to spoil it, but you actually have to pay attention to the story because it doesn't handhold you. You can keep failing to finish the game over and over again until you figure out what you have to do to beat it the right way. Because if you beat the game, like I said, I stumbled across the last boss on accident. You can do that, and you basically get a game over at that. So you have to do it again and try to figure out what you did wrong. And you've got to figure out, because it's almost a little puzzle-like. You've got to figure out what you're supposed to do to finish the game the right way. So I like that. It's neat. There's only one thing that I was not a fan of, and it was one of the progression items is locked to a random mob, like a random drop. All the other progression items are in bosses, or you can't do it until you get it from a box or something. Like, it's usually given to you so that you can progress, but this one item you actually have to kill a mob for, like farm a mob to get before you can progress any further. I got stuck, and I was like, where the fuck am I supposed to go? I got everything, and then it's like, you're supposed to kill this thing and get the ability from it. It's like, really? Okay, cool. It's an RNG thing to continue your game, but sure, okay. But other than that, everything else about the game was just incredible. I loved it. I highly recommend it if you like Castlevania RPGs. Super, super good. I beat it in 20-something hours. Granted, about 19 of those was in the pause screen.
I know how that goes.
Act like you have a child or something.
I know how that goes.
Yeah. But yeah, that's
so
what I played all week.
I played a few games. Last Sunday night, No Pants and I had to, because we had already beaten Green Hell, so we tried to move on to another survival game. So we ended up playing Astroneer, which you all played. Right?
Boy.
Yes.
I got lucky during my stream. A guy that retired from NASA and created like part of the stuff from the space shuttle, like some of the stuff they had to do, was in my stream, and he has 6,000 hours in this game.
Wow.
And I was like, that's a lot of time in this game. So he's helping me out, try to make decisions and stuff. But one of the things,
nice,
because you can leave the planet you're on and move to another planet. And he said if you go to the moon, there's an Easter egg on the moon. That if you find it, it literally plays the landing on the moon from 1969. All 1 hour and a half of it. So you hear all of the information. I was like, they put an hour and a half long fucking, I don't know if it's audio or the video or what, but they put the whole thing on there. And I was like, that's crazy. He's like, you're going to want to do it off stream. He said, if you did it on stream, I'll sit there and watch it with you. But he goes, you're going to want to do it off stream because you just have to sit there and listen. But the, so I thought it was really neat. I really liked a lot of the mechanics, and then finding all the food, or not food, but finding all the materials.
All the food,
all the food. And it's funny. Correct me if I'm wrong, but is there anybody that plays this game and doesn't look at resin and automatically go, all right, I've got enough macaroni and cheese, I've got to go.
Yes.
And
that's exactly right? What it is. I mean,
and if you stack two or three of them together, it looks like corn on the cob. So like you just pop them up.
So it kind of is food.
You know, so you just go through it. Like I think it's really brilliant on how the game's done. So we're gonna go back through tonight and do some other stuff on the planet we're on. I think it should be, you know, fun, especially now that we've got a lot of stuff that we've gained. And then Monday morning stream, I actually went back to No Man's Sky because I wanted to see what it looked like on the Xbox Series X. Game is absolutely gorgeous on there, but they put me on a planet that was literally 59 degrees Celsius, which is about 150 something degrees.
I mean, it's only a little
like,
warm.
It's ridiculous. You know, they put me somewhere like right off the bat. That's where I woke up and I was like, at least I've played the game a little bit. And I had people in the chat that have played the game to be like, all right, you need to do this, this, and this, because it was one of those where it was like it'd been so long, and going through it, I'm like, I am going to die because I need to find a hole in the ground, because I know if I go in the ground, all the outside elements go away.
you'd think you'd be used to it. It's basically like July around here.
Right. And so and then I finally got to the point that I could leave and go to another planet and all that stuff. They've added a lot of stuff since I played it. I think the last time I played it was about 4 or 5 months after the first release of the game. And so seeing the things that they've changed and added into it, it's kind of nice. I like it a lot. And then the other thing I started yesterday is the Medium, which
I saw that it's on Game Pass, and I'm like, I should do that. And then I was so frustrated this weekend that I was like, I will say
this. I know you're a fan of Silent Hill. It has a very Silent Hill feel to it. Mm-hmm. And if this doesn't springboard these fuckers to actually make Silent Hill,
nothing will. We'll talk about that.
I could see them doing see these people doing it, but it's the same people that did Layers of Fear created this game.
Ooh. The first Layers of Fear, because I think it was 2 studios that did 1 and then 2, and I
believe it's the first one. Yeah, because I want to say that they had 2 games and one of them was not the sequel to Layers of Fear. I could be wrong. I'll let him look it up because he's Googling right now.
I'm not Googling anything, but I will right now.
Yeah. But it is one of the Layers of Fear for sure. But but they did a really good job of creating the atmosphere that's there. It's very strange because at certain points of the game, when she has her medium ability there, the game is completely split screen. Mm-hmm. So you're actually having to look on one screen or the other, depending on what you're on, to be able to progress through from a
See, we were wondering how that was going to work, because they said it was a dual world, and we're like, how are they going to manage, do you swap back and forth?
Yeah, they're basically rendering both of them at the same time. It looks really good on a Series X. I couldn't imagine what it looks like on a high-end PC. But it's really neat the way that puzzle works, because it's your abilities that are in one world or on the other help you progress and move through. You have an insight ability to where you can kind of see certain things. Mm-hmm. And then sometimes you're in the real world, and then sometimes you're not in the real world. So it's like, it's very strange on how they did it, but it's cool. And you can also, like, as you're moving, you can move through both worlds at the same time, or you can hit a particular button and just move through the spiritual world to be able to progress. Or you might have to be in both worlds to do it. Like, it's really neat on how they did it. Scary wise, yeah, it's kind of creepy, not gonna lie. So they did, but I think there are elements of it that would be normally creepy, mm-hmm. that they did a really good job of not making it as creepy as it could have been. And I don't want to give anything in the game away, but it's so good. I really think, like, just playing the first 2 hours of the game, I honestly think Griff will like this for sure. Like, it's just so much fun to just go through and play.
It's on Game Pass. You get to it.
I know. I was going to say, it's that one and Greedfall are both on Game Pass right now, and I am going to play both of them.
Mm-hmm. Just, you know. Yeah, it's so good. I really like it. I'll be playing it again later. Well, next Saturday, I'll be playing it again. Yeah, I honestly think that I don't know plotline wise how it's going to end up being. but gameplay wise, they've definitely nailed it. And so far, I like the plot line. It's set in 1999 in Poland.
Oh no, Y2K. Save your PCs.
So set all the way around then. So, but you, the element that I'm in right now is in a hotel resort that fell apart somehow. And that's, I guess you're kind of trying to figure that out. But for the most part, it's just, like it just, the way they're progressing the story, and you'll see areas you can get to. Now you got to figure out how you're going to end up getting those plotline wise. So it's really well done. That's the only one I had. Other one I had.
For the Layers of Fear thing, it was Bloober Team. For the first Layer of Fears, there were 2 developers and 4 publishers. In Layer of Fears 2, it was just made by Bloober Team and 2 publishers, and they are the ones that made the Medium 2 by themselves.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
So,
yep.
Interesting. Well, let's talk about some new stuff now that we're 40 minutes into the show and we have 20 minutes to talk about it. So
it's a lot of small new stuff. I don't think anything is going to be like, oh my god, we got to sit here for an hour.
Are you sure?
Right.
I don't know. It's fine.
A couple of them are a couple of updates. Let's see. I know we talked recently. I think it was last week or the week before, when they said that Kevin Hart got a Borderlands spot. And
I was like, I bet it's rolling, and y'all are like,
play.
no, yeah, it's rolling. He rolling for some reason. I have zero faith in this movie. Zero. I think they're going to try to sell it on being a comedy, an action comedy, with Kevin Hart trying to carry the comedy role in it, but Roland was not a comedian.
No, he was the serious character.
Yeah. You cast a comedian in the role of like one of the few serious characters in the whole franchise, but
hey, if he wants to try a serious role, he's more than welcome to try, but I mean, from his history,
and to be fair, there are a lot of good comedians that were really good at doing serious roles. Like Jim Carrey is a great serious actor. You have, of course, the great Robin Williams. He was absolutely an amazing serious actor as well. I just can't see Kevin Hart doing serious, but maybe it's because he's never been cast that way. But he's got some acting chops we weren't aware of. We'll find out. I'm gonna say probably you're all right, and it's gonna suck, but we'll see.
Yes.
Well, I mean, the juxtaposition between the 2 characters that we know have been cast. You cast Cate Blanchett, who is way older than what Lilith should be as Lilith, and I'm sorry if you haven't played Borderlands 2, it's a pretty old game at this point, but Roland and Lilith are dating. So you want me to believe that Cate Blanchett and Kevin Hart are romantic interests? I'm just not sure that my
like
suspension of disbelief can actually do that. It's gonna be bad. It's gonna be, I'm calling it now, it's gonna be like Super Mario Brothers level of bad. And not in the charming, endearing way that I can watch because I watched it as a kid and I love John Leguizamo, so I'll forgive it. No. It's just gonna be terrible. So, that'll be fun. In a not fun way.
Right.
What other updates you want?
We have, you want to do the adaptation one? Since we're talking about movies, go the TV shows.
Yeah, we could do that one.
So Netflix has said that they're going to have an animated Tomb Raider series. It's supposed to take place after the 3rd game of the new reboot that they have. They don't know when. Like, they're not saying when. Here's my theory on it, because the next Tomb Raider game is supposed to combine the timelines from the original Tomb Raider games to this. Like, to what we currently have going on. And I'm thinking they're going to end up creating the animated series based on the original video games, except modernizing. That's my theory.
I'm confused. How are they going to merge the timelines? Aren't they 2 separate timelines? Aren't they 2 separate universes?
In the original, and I don't mean timelines as in years. I mean timelines as in where she's at in her career. So in the original Tomb Raider games, she was already an established Tomb Raider. The reboot showed her origin story, basically, right? So then it would take place after that. So that's why I think the animated series is going to follow the original plot line from the video games, the first video games, and move on from there. And they've already said that there's going to be a new Tomb Raider game that's going to be combine the line. So
how many fucking Tomb Raider games are there to follow? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Are they?
6,
I thought they
7,
were all
8, 9, 10, 11, 12,
mostly.
13,
I thought there was
14,
like 2
15,
timelines.
16, 17. 17. There are 17 games that take place before the start of her. So I mean, you basically have the three games to establish her, and then you have 17 games afterwards. And this movie is supposed to take place after. She's going to be. I don't know how old she is in her start,
now.
and then she's got 17 games afterwards. So I mean, I'm guessing what 20 years. So what? She's almost 40, 45, still Tomb Raider.
well, and with the 3 games that just came out, they all take place within a very short amount of time from each other, right? So I'm assuming that the originals do too, but it's been so long. Like I tried recently, like within the last 5 years, to go back to the original Tomb Raider game. I can't do it. Like I just can't. It's so boxy and everything else. And I know why everybody had love of Laura, because I loved that game. I thought it was great, but it is so clunky now.
Like, you think Nathan Drake had a great fucking arc of stories, man? Wait till you see Lara Croft and her fucking 20-something games of exploring.
Well, it's like that's what I'm saying. It's just like the first season's going to be that first game. The second season's going to be, you got at least 17 seasons.
Yeah. God. Oh
my God.
That's neat. The other thing that we have an update for, which we've been following for quite a few years now, is that the riot discrimination thing, they have pushed for an out-of-court settlement because I think they're getting tired of the court and whatnot and this being, and they just want to try to settle it. They have an update on it, and Monday the motion to compel was granted on our arbitration agreements were once again upheld by court. So they're basically, the complainants are being forced to do a settlement out of court. And I'm sure a lot of the people really don't want to, because if I had to guess, most companies like to cover their asses, and they would rather this stuff get settled out and away from public so that they, their dirty laundry isn't aired. So, because I think the complainants are trying to take them to court and deal with it, but the riot doesn't want to come out into the public and deal with all of the shit that's behind the scenes. And they say they're trying to fix things, but I know toxic culture is very hard to combat because you get a lot of pushback on it, and don't be such a wuss, don't all this shit and whatnot, and so they are again being forced to arbitrate and deal with it. And I assume that we will be hearing back again about them trying to go back to court and making them. So that's just where we're at now. We're still 2.5 years down the road, no solution has been fit. So welcome to America, where our court system is slow. Real slow. As slow as cyberpunk development.
Wow. And then it comes out in a mess. So, yeah, that's probably accurate.
That or Last Guardian. Like, which one?
Which one? Is that the one that was in development for 22 years?
Yeah. Forever. Too funny. One that that Chicken and I both are very excited about. We've actually mentioned recently on the show as well, which is we finally got a release date for Biomutant. It is May 25th of this year. We are getting the release. Like, we have a release date. Please don't delay this game anymore.
There's a lot of there's a lot of stuff coming out in that little block, so I imagine something is gonna get delayed. I don't know what.
First of all, it sucks because Pokemon Snap comes out April 30th. I want it. Resident Evil 8 comes out April 5th. I want it. No, May 5th. I think it's May 5th. I want it. Then Biomutant comes out May 25th. I want it. God damn it. And then Back 4 Blood comes out in June. I want it too. Why you gotta do this too? Why you gotta stockpile all the games right, first of all, in my busy season, and second of all together in just a couple of months?
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll get lucky and someone will be like Game Pass near day one. So that way you'd be like, all right, I'm out $50 instead of, $150. Hopefully. I'm excited for it though. I think it's been in the oven long enough. If you didn't notice, you have the collector's edition of the game, which is about $120 and comes with a little bitty statue of the little character that you play as. And then they have the Atomic Edition, and I looked up the price because I was like, I like the statue, that's pretty cool. It's $400, so no, nope, not touching that.
The cooler
Just
the
buy
statue,
another
the more
console with
expensive
that.
it is.
$400. I mean, I know people are gonna buy it, but I'm like, it's like it comes with that and a mouse pad. Cool.
I mean, the mouse pad's what really sells it.
Yeah.
I mean, I like the mouse pad. I think it's neat. I would totally want that mouse pad, but if they will sell that mouse pad separately, I will just buy that.
I'm sure they will. Just, give them a chance to make some cash.
Exactly. Exactly. Is that all the updated stuff?
I think that's the only things that needed.
Yeah, I think
updates.
those.
I think everything else is new.
Yeah.
New this week.
One of the ones I thought was kind of strange as it came across the wire was the fact that Warner Brothers is trying to patent the Middle Earth Shadow of Mordor's Nemesis system. And I'm thinking,
it was filed
why are
back
they
in March
just
of
now
20...
doing this?
No. It was filed in March of 2016.
Ow.
They are just now getting it into the courts, and it looks like it's going to pass, but they've been waiting 5 years, almost 5 years for this patent to go through. Which, to be fair, might be why they haven't licensed it out to other people yet.
Yeah, they may have been afraid to license it out without it being patented and somebody stealing the technology. Which would be nice. Like, I'm hoping they do patent and then license, because I know it would be nice to have in some other games, but...
Yes, it is such an incredible system, and I have preached on it for years, and damn, it needs to be in other games. First of all, having it in a Harry Potter game would be pretty fucking cool. Having it in a Batman game would be pretty fucking cool. Having it in an Assassin's Creed game would be pretty fucking cool. Like, there are so many games that could
create
use
an actual,
this.
Create a Star Wars style game.
Oh
right?
my god, yes.
But it didn't, like, imagine the fact that it's like, oh, I beat this, whatever. And with the technology they have in Star Wars, them coming back would not be a problem whatsoever. They would just might be come back as, like, a Darth Vader looking somebody that
like
they have
Darth
like all
Maul,
this life support shit.
Where he fucking got cut in half. Spoiler, he got cut in half, and he falls down, and then in the animated series, you see that he's back. Oh my god, let's do it in a Nemesis system in a fucking game. So you kill someone and they come back. Or bounty hunters, like you beat them and they run away and then they come back to deal with you later with more gears and gadgets and shit like that.
It's like, so that system is so satisfying. Like, it just is. And it's like, please patent the shit out of this. I want to see it in other stuff. Like, I love your games, but I want to see it in other things.
Imagine this, like, you beat a bounty hunter, you're a Jedi, you're jumpy and flippy and whatnot, and you're very mobile. He comes back and he fucking puts ankle bracelets on your ass, like he caps you with them, and you can't jump anymore. Like, he completely counters your play, so you have to play a different style to beat him. Like, there are so many options. I hope this goes through. I hope they license it and don't put it in their fucking vault to just sit on it for a long time.
Yeah, let's hope not.
Nemesis system is incredible. Please use it. I don't know how many times or how many years I have to keep saying this.
Well, and even then, think about the fact that you have Warner Brothers, and though, DC has horrible movies, at the end of the day, they can make a decent game to where you have the super villains and stuff like that return, where the minor villains return with more power or whatever, fighting in, because you could create,
I know.
So good.
There's so many fucking options that you could do with a system like this. Whoever developed this system, by the way, I'd like to fucking give you a handshake when we're back to normal, because right now I'm not touching you. But later on, I would love to give you a handshake for your
Let's
creative
just hope the person
genius.
at Monolith is still there that did it, right?
Yes. It's so awesome. I hope they do something with it. It's probably my hands down favorite system in any game ever created. It's just wonderful.
Well, that's pretty good. What else we got? Okay, then.
Konami is still building video games, supposedly. That's basically what I got out of this whole article.
The update was that
maybe videos of the pachinko machines.
They said they're not shutting down their video game division, even though what sparked this was that they were doing some internal restructuring. I mean, honestly, I feel like they're not making video games as it is. They're not even remastering some of their really good old content to resell to us. I actually just realized earlier today, while I was pulling up my Spotify, that they've pulled some of the Silent Hill soundtracks from Spotify even. It's like, Are y'all just tired of paying for the licensing for it to be on there, I guess? Because, I mean, I'm pretty sure you've got a big enough fan base that's probably using those.
I mean, they licensed it out to Netflix. They know they can do it. I mean,
but that's the thing, is they're licensing stuff out, but they're not making any more games, because this is actually a twofold story. They said that they're not shutting down the games division. They were just restructuring so that they can quote unquote make games faster. The idea is that they had like 3 teams of checks and balances that a game would have to go through before it could be said that this is okay, we can go ahead and go build this, or it looks good, or whatever. Now they want it to be one team because that would make things faster, although I feel like that means that your quality is going to suffer, but you guys aren't really making games, so I guess it doesn't matter.
All right, Konami, I really don't want to go down this route, but if you don't start licensing these games out, I'm just gonna have to start hoping your company fails and you go bankrupt, and then
but
people
the thing
can buy
is they're not gonna fail
titles.
because pachinko is such a big industry.
I hope
they will constantly
let's start sabotaging the pachinko machines. Fucking make them all loose so that nobody wants to play pachinko. Konami goes bankrupt, and somebody else gets to buy the damn license for those games. Konami, you're killing me here. We're trying to stick with you, but you're not helping us.
Even if they didn't have pachinko, they still have ways of making money, which actually leads into one of the other things.
I can still hope they fail.
That's fine, but they are licensing out Silent Hill stuff for another crossover DLC with Dark Deception Monsters Immortals. Because all they can do is license characters from franchises that people love instead of actually, you know, doing something with those franchises. And the reason they do it is because they can make the money, because those franchises have huge followings. And we're also thirsty for content from these franchises that will take it pretty much any way we can get it, and it takes it off of Konami to develop it.
I don't understand why, and we've had this discussion before, and actually recently, I don't understand why they don't just go, all right, do exactly what Disney's doing with Star Wars, which you just turn around and you go, all right, we're going to license and allow you all to be able to make one of our games, but you know, we need to make sure that you're going to build it to our capability, whatever, but we're going to publish the game and make a shit ton of money off this published game. And if you gave them a silent, nobody cares if it was made by, you know, a podunk team, if it's made right, you know, if it's you know, you give it to the Layer of Fears people that just made the medium. At the end of the day, people are going to be happy with it, you know?
I mean, that's what they did.
It just kills me.
There are companies out there that have proven that they can make a Silent Hill style game.
But I mean, that's the thing, is they did. The last Silent Hill game was Downpour, and I love that game. I mean,
I'm talking about like modern day, like the medium and other companies.
They've already done that. They licensed it out, they let somebody else develop it, and they published it, and then the end. Like, basically, they let somebody else develop it.
Who made Silent Hill Downpour?
It's a company called Vatra Games. I literally just googled it.
What did they make before that? What was their fucking the list of games before they?
I don't know.
Okay,
Russian
so Vatra
Attack,
Games.
Expatriate.
Yeah, see that's
they made
nothing.
the original Silent Hill.
It's nothing. They
nothing.
Were,
did they make the original Silent Hill?
What?
They made the original
Games?
what?
They made the original one. It looks like it's listed under their games. So they made the original, and then they came back for one.
Are you looking at Vatra Games or Kuju, their parent company?
Oh, maybe it's their parent company. It had it listed on the Google page, but then when you go to their thing, it doesn't list.
Vatra Games is a video game development company. Its parent company was Kuju, and it was founded in 2009. They made Silent Hill Downpour in 2012, and then it failed. Kuju shut them down because they did nothing. So they literally made a little company for Silent Hill, for this specific Silent Hill, let them make it. It failed. They got rid of them.
It's why you get an established company to make what you had in the first place.
Preach it. And there are companies out there now that have a portfolio of really fucking good games that you can use.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then on top of that, they have the money to pay for the good artist, right? So as it's being developed, you don't have to worry about, you know, it being a major issue. You've got all this, you know, all this being done by really good artists, being able to take care of. You can have really good writers to help with everything that happens, and then
100%.
And there are people that are going to want to get in on that too. If
I am
Silent Hill was doing a
100%
reboot,
with you. I have been screaming for them to license that product out or sell it for years. I'm 100% with you, but we all have to accept, and me mostly because I'm the huge fan here, that Konami's never going to do that. They're going to nickel and dime their fandoms because they can, and it's never going to go anywhere.
We can be in an uproar all we want, damn it. I'm going to be angry, and I hope...
I am angry. I've
been pushed to the point where I'm hoping they fail so that we can get their damn, get the fucking names out of their studio.
I have been past that point. When they started their downhill stuff and kicked Kojima to the curb, that's a whole nother drama, and I get wanting to part ways with him. He's insane. And he may be a creative insane, and that's cool, but still he's insane. But when they parted ways with him, it was over. He just needs to be kept on the
creative side of things and not the directing and whatnot. Like, you make your worlds, let other people make them a reality.
Well, because Metal Gear was what they were still, the last crutch that they were still leaning on. And then, because, I mean, they haven't had success with recent Castlevania games. They haven't had success with recent Silent Hill games. And Kojima departing and taking Metal Gear with him, I mean, well, not taking it with him, but basically taking the brains of it, it's just... They don't have anything left, and they know it, and they don't want to put forth any effort either. Konami's proven that in the recent years, it is a very low-effort, low-impact company. What is Pachinko? Well, it's a thing that's already done, and all you have to do is slap some licensed characters on it. What have they done with all of the characters that they own? Oh, it's all DLC for a bunch of other stuff that somebody else developed and programmed. They just paid, license it out to them. It's like...
But the problem is they're looking at everything short-term. How much money can we have right now, right? The pachinko machines that they have, and you're using the licensing from Silent Hill and your other franchises, you're literally, at some point, people are going to forget who Silent Hill is because you're not making anything new to drive people to those Konami machines.
Exactly. I mean, you'll always have a niche market for that because somebody will be like, oh, I'm new to the game stuff and I want a really good old school horror game. Oh, Silent Hill's great. But that number is getting smaller and smaller, and you will have less and less opportunity to sell based on your characters if nobody knows who your characters are. You're absolutely correct. 100%. I agree with you. Please sell your franchises. Please just sell them.
Please. Please, or give them to somebody who will make a fucking game for it. Please. Oh my god. Castlevania, Silent Hill, and whatever the hell else you got under the hood. Let us have it back. God damn it.
Crazy.
I'm mad.
Crazy.
I'm mad.
What else we got?
Me being angry. That's what.
The last little bit is Steam stuff.
All right.
Okay, well, that sounds good. Let's talk about Steam.
That's awesome.
Well, there's two different topics. One is a pretty good one, and people listening to this podcast on Monday can still get in on it. They are doing their Game Festival week, and they will offer 500 playable demos of games and live streams across their platform. I think this is really fucking cool for them. 500 different games where you could just download and play a demo of, and showcasing a bunch of stuff. It almost feels like it's a virtual E3 or some shit like this, where if it was a little bit more broadcasted on it, I think it would be better, because people can catalog and go through and whatnot, but it just doesn't seem like they push it hard enough. But I think it's really good for developers to kind of get their game out there.
Yeah, it's the 3rd through the 9th, so it's going to be a week of interesting stuff.
Yeah, it's really neat. I'm glad that they do this. This is really helpful for developers, just kind of getting their game out there and wanting to get an audience developed and whatnot. And Steam's helping them. This is where the Steam money goes into play. At least they've got a shopping cart and a Steam festival.
So, which will actually lead into our next section that we're about to go into. By the way,
yay!
Pretty good transition. Nice.
Well. So basically, there's a mass lawsuit that's happening right now with 5 different, I think it's 5 different companies. But basically the way it's set up is they're accusing Steam, because one of the things that Steam requires is you cannot sell your game on another platform for less than you're selling on it for Steam. And so they're trying to say that shouldn't be a thing. And there's a lot of people that think that same way. In other words, you can't run a sale on Microsoft Store without running the same sale on Steam. Is the idea behind it. Okay. And so they're trying to make it...
I think it's you could do the sales on the different platforms and whatnot, but your game's actual price has to stay equivalent to across. Like if you do a sale on Microsoft Store, fine, but if they lower the main price of the game, then Steam can do the same thing.
Oh, well, that makes way more sense. I was like,
yeah, like you could do sales, but you can't actually lower. You can't actually lower the main retail price. And if if somebody tries to do sales forever, then the Steam lawyers are going to be like, "Yo, dog, this game's been a little too cheap for a little too long. You better put that price back up, or else."
Yeah.
So
I don't have a problem with that.
The main thing that kills me is the fact that with this lawsuit, they actually have, as part of their lawsuit, they have a tweet that was sent out by Tim Sweeney from Epic. Literally the competition to fucking Steam.
Yeah. As
part of their argument. And I was like, it almost is like Tim Sweeney handed them their tweet, or he did the tweet on purpose because they knew this lawsuit was going to happen.
Yeah.
And it's this shady ass shit that's there. My thing is this: if part of the reason I think that Steam doesn't want to change that is, first of all, because they do have the higher percentage. But the other thing about it is, I think they don't want to change it is because they have more features, and those features cost money. And so what's to stop, a particular developer to go, okay, my friend Bob is creating his own client. Let's help Bob out, and half the price is his retail somewhere else. What's to stop that from happening? And that's what I'm thinking. I think it's one of those things to where Epic knows that that's a thing, and they can lower the price on their store because they don't charge as much percentage-wise, right? Mm-hmm. So now instead of $50 on Steam, you're paying $40 for the game because of that percentage. And I was like, that's which is why they have it set up that way. I'm interested to see how this ends up playing in the future.
Yeah, we're going to watch this one very closely.
Yeah, like I get it from a developer standpoint, like business side that way, but I also get it from the business side on the other too, which is like we're protecting us.
Well, and I think that's what a lot of people don't look at with this argument about Steam and the Epic being different as far as what percentage they take and everything. Is like, you guys have to understand, Steam is not a platform that just runs itself. It is still a business, and they have to make money in order to continue to do business. So for them to
we
do
just
that,
discussed the Steam demo week,
yeah,
that costs money, and they put that money that they make back into their platform to help the developers.
I just think it's weird to me, and maybe it's because I've worked in the business side of stuff for so long, that people seem to think that it's not fair for a business to want to make money. Like, I'm not saying Steam's over here making, Jeff Bezos money by any stretch of the imagination. It's not. If you want to be mad about a company that makes too much money, why don't you go direct your anger towards like Amazon or Walmart? But Steam has to pay its employees and pay for its upkeep and pay for everything in the back end that you're using and you don't realize you're using it. Just because you have it installed on your PC doesn't mean your PC is running everything for you. I mean, there's just a lot of stuff that's on the backside of that, and for people to be like, they shouldn't be able to make money like that. They should be able to just not take that much off the top or whatever. They can't, though. I mean, it's kind of like expecting that a business is not going to pay its employees just because you want to shop there and you think that, items should be cheaper. It's like, it's not about
It's R&D, right? Research and development. That's the, like, I guarantee Steam puts a shitload of money into their R&D department. Like, they made the Vive. They fucking are working on a damn hat that you put on that senses your brain waves, man. They are putting a shitload of money into actually developing technology too. So I know that there are competitions for platforms and whatnot, but honestly, there's no platforms like Steam that do as much in the background as much in the foreground.
Well, this goes back to the whole argument that we had last week about the Microsoft servers. Mm-hmm. Microsoft charged for their service because of the fact you're using their servers, and for a very long time, if PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360, if you had the same exact game, it ran much better on a 360 than it did on a PlayStation 3, and the reason why is because you were paying for servers and they could upkeep them properly, where Sony was not able to do the same. So, and then Sony comes out with a pay service for PS4, and it's one of those where people have to realize that shit costs money. It can't all be free. No. Like, and there is stuff that you don't see that costs money.
Yes.
Just because you can't physically touch it doesn't mean that it doesn't cost money. Yeah. Internet costs money. People have websites. They pay for these websites. Mm-hmm. They pay for the people to create their websites. They pay for the infrastructure for servers. They have all this stuff that they have to pay, and it costs a ton of money. They got to charge something for it. It can't all be free.
Yeah, I can totally get that. Like, I mean, that's how they save their overhead and whatnot. Because all Microsoft does, like, they don't have a storefront, or well, they do have a storefront or whatever, but they don't really have a constant stream of income other than the Xbox Live and Game Pass. Like Steam, I mean, they're a fucking storefront. Literally, you go, like, they are probably selling games every single day, every minute of every day. Microsoft is probably selling games, but other than selling games, they don't really have a way to provide the services. So I get Game Pass and the Xbox Live. Like, it makes a lot more sense now. They have to be able to supply us with the servers and the infrastructure and the tools that we use to play their games. So, I mean, I get it. It's important to do that, and I guess people need to think about that when they're complaining about things.
Oh, for sure.
I know we didn't put it in the stories, but I just I know I'm going to get called out on it if we don't mention it in at least passing, but BioWare announced this week where Dragon Age 4 is going to be set, and we already knew it was going to be in the Teventer Imperium. I don't know why it's news. I don't know why anybody's like, this is a thing we should talk about, but they mentioned that it's going to be in Teventer. I just have low expectations for this game. It will not be a day one purchase, which hurts me, but I can't after some of the stuff that's happened recently with BioWare. I just can't be like, here's my $60 right out of the gate. I need you to show me that you need my $60 and that I should give it to you before I give it to you.
I wonder if it's going to be on Game Pass since they have that deal with Microsoft.
Yeah, you mean?
I don't know.
EA has a deal with Microsoft.
Yes.
I wouldn't expect it to. Not right away. And unless they're going to put it on the EA Game Pass bullshit thingamabob.
Well,
that's what he meant.
But that's the ultimate Game Pass, I think, is now what they've put with with Microsoft.
I don't know if they will or not. I kind of wonder the same thing. I kind of wonder if they're going to try not to, just because of the fear that people are going to play it for free and not, actually go and buy the game.
To be fair, that's what we did with Anthem.
It is, but we did it through Origin, so we still theoretically had to pay for Origin, but we just played it during the trial month. So we kind of skirted the rules on that one. But
and
I don't know.
To be fair, it saved a ton of people money.
Yeah, it did.
Preach it.
Man, if they could just refashion Anthem into something better and make an Anthem 2, I think that'd be the way to go on that one. But yeah, I don't know.
They're supposed to be creating it into something new, better. But it's going to still be Anthem. It's supposed to be better. So it's going to be. I think that's where you don't touch that one. That one stays on. Like, even after you've redone it, it stays on the EA Pass because
that needs to.
You don't want to. It's like, we fucked up the first time. We've got to get that back, right? But I do worry about, like, long-term fans of Dragon Age having the same problem with this, that, Anthem is just a totally different animal because it was a new IP, but it's like...
But I mean, we went through this with Mass Effect when they did Andromeda, and you would hope that they would learn their lesson from that and move forward, but at the same time, there's that fear that they haven't, because they have made mistakes since then and things like that, so it's I'm gonna let it, like Chicken and I were talking about earlier, and Chicken's right, I'm gonna let it sit for at least a couple of days to see what the actual hands-on people playing it actually think about it, instead of it being like, well, the reviews say that it's okay or whatever. Because I also feel like they're probably not gonna let this one get reviewed super early either. It'll probably be either the week of or the day before, which is what I think they did with Cyberpunk, was the day before is when it unlocked for review copies. But I think that I just need to not. I might go ahead and purchase day one the Mass Effect collection, because it's the first 3 games. They're just remastering it. That is. They're already there.
Things, speaking of Mass Effect, one of the weird things, because a lot of game mechanics are patented and whatnot, one of the weird things that was patented was Mass Effect's dialogue wheel.
Okay, then.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So does that mean, like, how it works internally in the game, or does that mean how it's presented when we're looking at it?
How it's presented and works. Like, that their dialogue set is patented to them.
Huh.
Very, very interesting. There's a few other things. I'll see if I can find them. But I thought that was really neat, the weird mechanics that people patent.
Well, it was like, for the longest time you had the like the loading screens or whatever, where you had like the mini games and the loading screens, like FIFA had theirs before you'd play or whatever. But it was like a company that had patented that, and then the patent had ended up like for a very long time they kept making money off of people doing that, and then the patent finally went up like years ago. But I always thought that was funny too. Like
BioWare dialogue wheel. Sega once held the patent for Crazy Taxi's compass arrow.
Crazy Taxi's compass arrow? What is that?
Yeah,
so
like the little compass
thing
arrow.
To divide and go everywhere.
That patent
isn't
ran
the
out
one in The Simpsons? Did it not have the same thing?
They probably licensed it.
That's
you have
crazy.
to license things like that. It expired in 2018. And also Nintendo currently holds the patent on Eternal Darkness's sanity meter, which I'm not entirely sure what that looks like.
Huh. Okay,
Wow.
then. That's weird. It's weird what people will patent, but I guess it makes sense.
But
Can't have every game having a sanity
here we are
meter.
looking at the Nemesis system that like literally is this
Just now coming up. Well, I
this
mean, that's
whole
probably,
system is set
like
up to where you can fight against these people and it learns. It's an AI basically, and the other one's like and arrow that makes me get like
interesting. That's so weird. It's such weird things that they. But yeah, I read that at the bottom of it. I forgot to bring it up, but since you mentioned Mass Effect, I was like, yeah, let me throw that in there real quick.
Crazy Taxi was 98, 99, somewhere around that era, because it was around the Dreamcast era. It was one of the Dreamcast games. So
Crazy Taxi 99, February of 99.
There you go.
Wow. All right, I gotta go play some Skyrim. Okay,
That's fine.
I need to go
that's all of that.
take my pony and my friend and go places.
We appreciate everybody who hangs out with us each and every week at Infinite Respawn. As always, you can check us out on Twitter at InfiniteResPC. You can check me out personally at MDB Oaktree. Check out Griff.
At Griff Slineham.
Check out Chicken.
At Elite Chicken 313.
And don't forget, even though he's not here, Baka also has one, which is Baka Pickle. So make sure you follow everybody that's on there and, interact a little bit. We're cool. We're cool. I promise.
We're very
interacted.
cool.
I'm
We're
the one that hasn't been
coolest
on Twitter
cool.
in like forever.
And then also make sure that you go to Griff's YouTube channel, where she's currently playing through Skyrim. Usually release one like Sunday night, right?
Yeah, usually Sunday night, because that's when I remember to do it, and it's been like one a week because I keep forgetting, and that's my fault. I'll try to have them be more frequent, but I've also like not had as much time to record lately too, so I'm kind of short on videos.
It's almost like you're a mother now.
It's like I'm a busy person now.
I mean, you don't have time tonight. You don't have a raid to do.
I just salt that wound again.
Rip. Damn. Coming in early with the fucking salt shaker.
Yeah.
Also, make sure you go to twitch.tv/Elite Chicken 313. Chicken, win. What do we have?
Said,
I know it's Ghost of Tsushima. I need to know.
Griff says that I can play some more tomorrow.
We were gonna let you play last week, but everything, like, basically a bunch of stuff happened in the morning and it just went into the afternoon and didn't happen, so we'll see.
I almost want to take my PS5 over to your house just so you can play it in 60 frames per second. That way. The difference is unreal. I sent him a video.
First of all, the only thing that I would play if you brought it over here would be the Resident Evil 8 demo.
Oh, fair.
I'm just waiting for it to come out on Steam or wherever so that I can actually have a chance to play. But let's not divulge into another conversation. That's the end of our show.
Also, make sure you go to twitch.tv/MDB Oaktree, where I stream Friday through Monday. So you can catch me on there currently playing all different types of games, because that's what I do. So, enjoy that. For Infinite Respawn, I'm Oaktree.
I'm Griff.
I'm Chicken.
See ya.
Bye.
Please hang up and try again.